Executive Chairman of Afrotone Investments, Manyi, is considering his legal options after the court has granted interim relief to billionaire entrepreneur Wierzycka. Now, Wierzycka wanted the court to force Manyi to withdraw what she dubbed as defamatory tweets. The matter has now been referred to an equality court. Pending the final determination, Manyi has been directed to move his tweets and other social media posts within 24 hours. This includes any retweets and responses. The case relates to Wierzycka saying that in a CNBC interview that she would pay Zuma to quit as president. Tweeting the link to that interview, Manyi said it was a financial terrorism and must be investigated.
An interim relief has been given to Magda, who is the applicant, and Mr. Manyi should remove all his tweets, or cause the removal thereof, on his Facebook page and on his Twitter page. And this matter is being referred to another judge, pending finalization thereof.
Here's a look at the key arguments and counter-arguments in the case, which will now be decided upon by the Equality Court. Wierzycka alleges that Manyi is targeting her because she spoke against President Zuma and state capture. In his court papers, Manyi has counter-argued that he was only resisting endeavors to have a democratically elected president bought off. Wierzycka says that Manyi's posts amount to defamation, harassment and hate speech, to which the latter has argued that her view that President Zuma should be offered money to step down is the worst form of racial profiling. Wierzycka claims that Manyi's posts seek to stifle her and her constitutional rights. In his counter-argument, Manyi says that Wierzycka has financial power to bury views that do not accord with her own and that he has no financial muscle to resist the muzzle. Wierzycka further says that Manyi's posts are incendiary and attempted to threaten, intimidate and silence her. Hitting back, Manyi has said that there is no credible instance of harm or threat to harm as a direct result of his tweets, and that nothing in his statements is reasonably capable of inciting violence or threat of violence. Now, joining us over the phone line is political analyst Tepo Khadima. Very good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on ANN7. Now, let's get a clear separation between freedom of expression and hate speech. What differs the two?
Well, in this case, the question that has to be answered, I think, by the Equality Court will be that has there been hate speech? And I find it very difficult that the court will make such a determination. Because clearly there hasn't been any evidence of hate speech. And hate speech effectively constitutes when one member of the public or a citizen, for example, is calling for another to be harmed in one way or another on the basis of either culture, either on the basis of their gender, or on the basis of their race. And clearly that does not apply here. But I do not believe that the interim relief that has been granted to Magda Wierzycka is actually going to be the remedy. If anything, is going to exacerbate things for her, because it is not going to be possible for Magda Wierzycka to be able to interdict the whole country, more so particularly on pertinent facts that had been raised. For example, I think the last tweet that Mr. Manyi made was in reference to the Paradise Papers, where Magda Wierzycka is in the Paradise Papers, therefore can legitimately be questioned in terms of her tax affairs. And that is a fact that is stated. It's not an allegation. It is not impugning her character. And I cannot see how this judge could come to such a interim relief that has since been granted. But I think the other court, when they hear the matter, I cannot see how they will uphold this interim relief that has been granted, or the interim interdict.
Now, let's talk a bit more about the Equality Court. What do you think will be the main arguments besides hate speech that you have pointed out to us? What will be the most important factors when they go to the Equality Court?
Well, I believe that freedom of expression is the one that is going to carry the day, more so specifically on that Magda Wierzycka will not be able to sustain legally any argument to support the fact that either her character has been impugned and that she has been defamed, or that any harm she will not be able to demonstrate causation, that the comments as attributed to Mr. Manyi indeed have a direct cause and effect to her being harmed or physically, as she has alleged. I do not think that she can be able to bring any such evidence to court. But above all, freedom of expression, more so on the issues that are truthful. As I mentioned, for example, the Paradise Papers, and Wierzycka has still not been able to even answer Mr. Manyi on that allegation. So hiding behind this interim interdict is not going to be the remedy, because there will be other members of the public who will continue to demand of her, since she has put herself up to say she is the paragon of moral virtue. Therefore, the question should be asked legitimately, how can a paragon of moral virtue be in Paradise Papers? And whether it's Mr. Manyi or any other, it will not be possible for Wierzycka to interdict the entire country. But also, she must be able to receive that which she has been dishing out in buckets. She has been saying all manner of things against the character of the president, the state president of the republic, impugning the character of the president, and effectively diminishing the status of the president. And if she can be able to do that, I cannot see how she can legitimately expect for the court to protect her from the same critique and from the same questions that she has to answer herself.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the phone line. That was political analyst Tepo Khadima, just giving us some more information on this case between Wierzycka and Manyi when they go to the Equality Court, saying that freedom of expression and also hate speech will be 2 points that will be focused on when they go to the Equality Courts. Well, that's all from myself and the Newsroom Live team for today. We'll take a quick look at your weather forecast, and then Cindy Mabe is up next with Prime.